What's up, y'all? I'm Judd Lionhard, former Army Ranger, college linebacker. I've been a speed and performance coach for over 15 years. I'm the founder of the MASS Method. Today, I'm up in St. Louis, Missouri at the First Form HQ in their training facility, which is awesome. Today, I'm gonna give you guys a simple, total body kettlebell workout that you can do with just one kettlebell. So kettlebells are great because the nature of the implement allows for a lot of smooth movements that are curvilinear in nature that really go with how we are made to move naturally. And they're very adaptable and fairly affordable for everything that you can do with them. So my recommendations when it's time to buy a kettlebell for your home gym or even using one on vacation is to go with a kettlebell that's somewhere between 20 and 30% of your body weight. So the reason I say that is because that's the most versatile and adaptable weight that you can do the most things with, but it's still heavy enough where you get a good stimulus with most things. It allows you to do single arm variations. It allows you to do things that are plyometric in nature, but it's also heavy enough where you can create some muscular growth through the mechanical tension. So for me, since I'm 250 pounds right now, I'm gonna go with a kettlebell that's somewhere in between 62 and 75 pounds. Today, I'm using a 75-pound kettlebell. This workout only includes kettlebell stuff, but if you have a pull-up bar or something like a rower or an air assault bike, it's easy to add those things in, and I encourage it. This workout will work your back, so you're gonna get that stimulus, but if you have a pull-up bar, I highly encourage you to superset some of the movements with things like chin-ups and pull-ups. So let's get rolling. So there's a ton of really cool exercises you can do with just one kettlebell. I'm gonna stick with some of the more basic ones that don't require a ton of mobility or special skill, just so they're the most accessible. But just remember, just because something is simple doesn't mean it's not effective even for advanced trainers. Just do more reps, do a heavier load, whatever you need to do to make it fit your needs. And some of these movements do require some power and some skill. You don't have to do all of the movements, but I want to give you guys as many examples as possible that you can throw in with this kettlebell. So I like to start with a simple kettlebell front swing. It's a very common movement, but it's often done incorrectly. So I'm just gonna go over the best way to do it real quick. It's a power type movement that it's also great to get you ready for the rest of the workout. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start with a little bit in front of you. You're gonna drag it into it. As you do, you're gonna feel your hips load. Then you're gonna stand up. And a lot of people like to squat their front swings or muscle it up with their upper body. But the front swings is a simple hinge movement. So what you're gonna do, keep the bell about knee height, push the bell behind you, loading the glutes. And at first you're not gonna try to throw it up in front of you with your arms. You're just gonna extend your hips, and however high it goes is how high the bell goes. And then if you wanna make the eccentric harder, just start to finish with it a little higher. And then that's gonna make the eccentric catch a little bit more intense. And you're gonna feel it a lot in your glutes and hamstrings. If you're doing it properly, you're not gonna feel that a lot in your lower back. If you are, it either means your lower back is exceptionally weak or you're doing it improperly. It's a great beginner exercise, and it's a great exercise to start the workout with. So the front swing is cool because it can be adapted based on the weight you have. This is a fairly light weight for a kettlebell front swing, so you can add a band to it, which I love for one, to make it more difficult. Or at this weight, I tend to do higher reps, more of a prep movement or a power movement. So somewhere between 10 and 20 reps. But if you have a heavier kettlebell, doing front swings in the 6 to 8 rep range is really effective too. So the next exercise I go into is another front swing version, but it's single arm front swings. So what I do there, take the same stance, grab with one hand, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna turn the kettlebell backwards so that when you get to the bottom of the swing, your thumb is rotated back, and then you're gonna open your palm during the swing, catch it at its highest point, and then do the other side. I also like to shift my hips, as you'll see, but you don't have to do that. But for me, it's a lot more comfortable, and I feel a lot better range of motion when I do that. So I'm just gonna get the swing going a little bit first, and then I'm just gonna start to switch and rotate side to side so that you'll see my wrist is actually stacked under my working side hip bone as I go behind my legs here. So with that, I normally do somewhere between 8 to 10 reps each side, normally about 2 sets. So you're definitely gonna get a training effect from those first 2 exercises, the front swings, but they also kind of count as prep movements, getting you into the workout as well. So the third one is also kind of a prep movement, It's more for core and mobility, and it's just the figure eights. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna go into about a half squat position, and you're gonna get a nice little rhythm going and just form a pattern in between your legs. It's very important that you get some momentum going behind your legs to carry it through and swing out in front so that you don't shortchange it. And then after I do these, I'll show you a more advanced version that you can do as well. So get a good little squat position going. Just reach through, take your time. You're gonna swing it through with your hips, not trying to muscle it through with your arms. The arms will just control it. So it's gonna get your hips, your knees, your ankles, your shoulders, your back, everything warmed up and ready to go. Also get your heart rate up pretty high too if you do enough of them. So I normally only do about 8 each side, and then I move on, 2 sets. I don't do a ton of sets of any one exercise. Okay, so the prep part of the workout is pretty much done, but like I said, you did get a great workout stimulus from those movements as well. And another cool part about the prep is it's kind of total body in nature. So now I don't need to do a ton of work for my shoulders unless I have some kind of shoulder problem to be able to jump right into the upper body portion. And with kettlebells, nothing is truly just upper body. There's gonna be a lot of leg, hip, and core involvement in these movements. So the next movement is gonna be the kettlebell overhead press. And that is the most challenging as far as strength goes. So I normally do that very early in this workout, right after my lighter prep movements. So for the kettlebell press, a lot of people like to press the kettlebell like they would press a barbell or a dumbbell kind of out to the side, but that's not the optimal way to press a kettlebell. It'll feel really awkward and painful if you do that. So what you want to do with the kettlebell is you want to get that in the rack position with your thumb, with your fist on your sternum, your forearm at a 45-degree angle, your elbow away from your side a little bit so that kettlebell sits nice and cozy right there in this little cradle that your arm makes. And doing that, if you see, it's going to work a lot of medial shoulders as well. And it's going to be a curvilinear movement. So when you press it, you're not going to press like that. You're going to come around, press it up, and then drop it right back down, back to that sternum. And I'll demonstrate about 5 of them for you. So see, I have kind of an open hand here, so my wrist is more or less straight. And then I'm gonna get a little twist going, press, and then right back down into that cradle. Once it gets heavy, you can use your legs a little bit, kind of like a push press, and then catch it. Okay, so if you want to add on to the complexity of that movement, you could just add a kettlebell clean to it. So a simple way to do that, remember a clean isn't like a barbell, you're not pulling it straight up. So you see a lot of people when they clean a kettlebell, they'll come straight up and it'll just flop on the shoulder. The kettlebell clean is a little bit like the single arm front swing, only you pull it back into you and you swoop your arm under. So it's good to start with a couple single arm swings first, and then all you're gonna do, swoop your arm under, press it, down, back. Swoop your arm under, press, down, back. See, I'm not out to the side of my body here. I'm coming in front of my body, I'm using my core, and then the pull up, curvilinear movement. If this gets hard, you can use your other hand for some support here during the cradle, so you can keep working. So you don't have to do this, but this is a good way to get more of a metabolic benefit from your workouts and also save time. It's to superset the movements. So you can either do straight sets of the press or the clean and press, or you can superset them with this next movement, which is a Cossack squat to row. It's good because it doesn't directly work many of the same muscles. So fatiguing this or fatiguing the press isn't gonna take away from this movement, and you can really they really complement each other well. So you're gonna assume a nice wide stance here. What you're gonna do is you're gonna come down into a low position here, row it to your hip, back down, and then come back over to the other side. See how I'm starting with my thumb to the rear, and then I'm fully supinating here. And you can take as much pressure and lean on your thigh as you need to support your core. So if you want to challenge yourself, you can take it off. If you need a little bit more help, you can put it back on. And then you just rotate from side to side, really taking your time with these movements. However low you go in the Cossack is personal preference and ability. So there's a lot of ways to tweak these movements to your personal preferences and needs. Take it off if you need to. Here, go to the other side. Here. I normally do 6 to 8 reps each side of that. So with total body movements, or total body workouts rather, I like to either alternate upper and lower, or do those as part of a superset. So when we started this workout, it did work my upper body, but it was a lot of posterior chain and legs. The next movement worked the lower body a little bit, but it was really upper body and core heavy. So now I'm gonna go back on my next superset or straight set, however you wanna do it, and it's gonna be more of a lower body focused workout. So the next movement is kettlebell pass-through lunges, one of my favorite movements. And if those are too easy for you, I'm gonna show you weighted split jumps if you're pretty advanced, okay? So with the kettlebell pass-through lunges, pick it up in one hand, it doesn't matter, but you're gonna lunge with the other leg and go down slow. And you're gonna go down all the way, but you're not gonna let the kettlebell or your knee rest on the ground. When you're down there, pass it through, and then in one smooth, fluid movement, lunge to the other leg, go down first, pass it through, and you're just gonna repeat that movement side to side 8 times. And you'll notice when I lunge, I'm not super narrow here. I'm gonna lunge out a little wide, create a nice little space, pass it through, and then one fluid motion, I'm gonna go into the other side. So I normally do somewhere between 6 and 10 reps of those, depending on what I'm doing with that movement. So if you're a stud and those are just too easy for you, you can also do kettlebell weighted split jumps. Now, there's a couple different ways to do these. You can do them one leg at a time, where you go down and just finish neutral like this, which is fine. Or the way I'm gonna demonstrate here is you hold it by the horns, and every time you go down, you shift your upper body so it's over the front leg. And when you do that, you want your shoulder pointed forward, your back shoulder pointed forward, and you want your forearm and your thigh to make like the shape of a T or an X. So all you're gonna do is here, get a nice little bicep workout too, just holding it. You're gonna jump down, jump and switch. So when I do those, I normally do 6 to 8 reps, and then I'm pretty smoked. Okay, so far through the workout, we've been alternating upper and lower. You can superset those if you want. The next movement is a good option to superset with the 2 leg exercises, and they're alternatives that I just showed you, if you choose to, but once again, you don't have to. And it's more of a total body, upper body type movement. These aren't right for everybody, and I'm gonna show you an alternative if you don't feel comfortable with the full snatch. So it's just a single arm kettlebell snatch. So what you're gonna do here, you're gonna start with kind of the same movement once again that you did with the front swing, only you're gonna drive up and punch to the ceiling. This is one that is commonly taught and commonly taught wrong, and people hate it for good reason, because it's very uncomfortable because the kettlebell will slam on your forearm. But if you do it right and go curvilinear, and have it go out first and then punch to the ceiling, it's gonna come to rest nice and easy on that forearm and feel very comfortable for you. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna get a couple easy front swings going here, then you're gonna kind of pull it back here, and then you're just gonna go and punch to the ceiling. So you'll be pretty smoked by then, so I normally do 6 to 8 reps of that, and then I'm pretty out of breath. In case you just don't feel comfortable doing that snatch, or think you need a little bit more time to practice that before you put it in the middle of a workout, you can just do the kettlebell high pull, which is very similar. When you come up, you're gonna come out with it first, pull it back into you, keeping the elbow high, and then push it away from you. And that's gonna get your delts and your lower traps, hips, and your posterior chain pretty good. So a couple front swings here, pull it back, push it forward. Pull it back, push it forward. Just trying to keep your elbow as high as your hand. You're gonna get a lot of rear delts here, a lot of medial delts. Good total body workout. Okay, so we're getting it kind of late into the workout now. You should be fairly fatigued, so we're gonna save some of the upper body stuff for the end. A couple reasons, kind of a reward for you. You get to work on more of the show muscles because you've done the move muscles first. Also, it's a little bit safer, so you're not probably gonna drop anything on your head. Now, this is a kettlebell only workout, but if you have a kettlebell with any kind of pull-up bar or chin bar, it'd be fantastic to superset these with chin-ups or pull-ups, or rope climbs, whatever vertical pulling motion you want. So these are just over and back push-ups. These are one of my staple movements in mass method along with my athletes. So what you wanna do, normally kettlebells, they'll have a side that's rounded with the logo. Most of them, like this one, it comes with a little flat side here, and so you can lay it on its side and it won't roll around on you. So what you do is you just lay it on that side, probably with the handle facing away, and you're gonna put one hand on this kettlebell. You're gonna keep most of the weight in the push-up over this up working hand, and you're gonna explode up and over in a nice smooth transition. Okay, so the next movement is if you don't feel comfortable with the over and back push-ups, or you want to focus more on your upper chest and your triceps and maybe your front delts a little bit, you can just do a kettlebell close grip push-up. And you can also add these in afterwards if you want to just focus a little bit more on your pushing muscles, okay? So both hands on either side, and what you want to do, you don't just want to push straight down, you want to squeeze the kettlebell like you're trying to crush an egg, and then you're going to get in a nice push-up position here, and when you go down, you're going to come down and forward a little bit, and then up and back a little bit, and you can actually let your knees bend a little bit on the way back. Okay, and if you want to shift it more to your front delts or delts in general, pike up and have your butt up above your shoulders, so it turns it into a little bit of an incline press here. Okay, so to close out here, I just want to reinforce a couple of ideas. This is not, in no way a comprehensive list of kettlebell exercises. Okay, so if you have other kettlebell exercises you want to incorporate, please feel free to do that. Also, a lot of people tend to shy away from kettlebells because they don't understand how they work. They don't think they're as effective as a barbell or a dumbbell. But just remember, there's no implement that's better or worse. It's just how you use that implement and what you use it for. Is it optimal for what you're trying to achieve? And in a lot of ways, kettlebells are superior to other implements based on the movement characteristics that kettlebell allows for. So if you like what you saw here, or you have any other implements in the gym that you want ideas for and how to like structure a workout around or how to use optimally, feel free to leave those in the comments. Make sure you hit your notification button so you're notified when a new video drops. And then also make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. Hope you guys have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.